Selling your home costs money. Whether you choose to go for sale by owner or hire a professional, there are costs associated with selling your home, and it's important to know those up front so you can avoid some unwelcome surprises. It's not a fun situation to be in when you're in contract and you have agreed to a certain price on your house, only to find out you aren't walking away with nearly as much as you hoped for or expected. There are some surprises that you can't plan for, like a repair that's needed during the listing agreement before you close, or a huge defect that shows up during inspection. But even with the unpredictable, you can at least go in with eyes open, knowing what you can definitely expect and being aware of a few things you might encounter. The choice to sell your home is a big one. Sometimes it's necessary. You got a new job in another area. Your parents need full-time care. You can't afford the house that you're in, or the house or location isn't meeting your needs. Other times you could stay if you need to, but you don't want to. You dream of a new adventure or a new area or new features. When making this decision, most of the time, one of the factors affecting that decision is how much you can get out of your current house. Can you afford to sell? If you sell, can you afford your next house? Hi, my name is Lydia Rowe, and I'm a realtor here in Ohio. And on this channel, we discuss all things related to living in the Miami Valley. I'm by no means a financial expert or advisor, and I recommend consulting on any large transactions such as real estate, but I do have a lot of experience in buying and selling houses. I have negotiated many transactions and sat at many closing tables representing both sellers and buyers. So I've seen both sides, and I have a pretty good idea of the expenses involved. I've also helped buyers buy for sale by owner, and I've advised for sale by owner sellers. So although I'd love your business, that's not what this video is about. It's about giving you the information that you need in order to make the best decision about your next move. I'm going to break this down into 7 costs, including 5 monetary costs and 2 non-monetary. First and largest of the 5 monetary expenses is number 1, cost of payoffs. One expense sometimes overlooked is the amount you still owe on your mortgage or on your home equity line of credit, or the solar panels that you installed, or the payments on that new HVAC system that you put in. Upon selling, you're going to need to pay off any remaining balances. Additionally, some mortgages include prepayment penalties for paying off the loan early, which can be up to 2% of the outstanding balance. So you're going to want to consult with your lender to obtain an accurate payoff amount and inquire about any potential penalties to avoid surprises at closing. You can negotiate with the buyer on payment plans, like for an HVAC system or solar panels, but most buyers are unwilling to take on debt that they didn't create, and you would certainly want them to know about the expectation of this up front before any offers are made. Now, if your house is already paid off and you don't have any debt on it, then usually the next highest monetary cost is number 2, cost of professional fees. If you're selling your house yourself, you will at least need to pay a title company or a lawyer to look over the contract or write up the contract, as well as purchase signs, lock boxes, ads, professional photographer, staging. So figure $2,000 to $3,000. Then you're also going to need to know that most buyers are working with their own agents and that they have agreement with those agents called buyer agency agreements. And in it, most of the time, they've agreed to pay their agent a certain percentage, like 3%, and their agents will include that fee in the offer that they make to you, asking you to pay that fee. That might not seem fair to you if you don't understand why, and I have other videos explaining it in great detail. But the nutshell version is that buyers have to already come up with cash for the down payment and the closing costs, unless that they're asking for additional closing cost help, which we'll talk about in a minute. Those are 2 massive expenses, and many buyers simply can't afford to pay their agent out of pocket for their services. In the past, agent compensation was built into the purchase price, and many of the house prices that you use for comparisons still do that. So this allows the buyers to essentially split that cost over 30 years instead of coming up with it up front. They are still the ones paying for it, but it comes out of the money that they borrow before profit goes to you. Okay, so for sale by owner, figure $2,000 to $3,000 plus another 3% in professional fees. If you decide to hire a real estate agent to handle the sale, that's usually around 3 to 4%, depending on what they're offering. And they often cover the photography fee as well as provide or advise on staging, prepping, not to mention understanding the market, pricing, negotiation, problem solving, keeping track of deadlines and paperwork, providing references for contractors needed. I know I've saved my clients thousands just because I have good relationships with contractors who can act fast when there's stuff that comes up that needs fixed or repaired. And that brings me to my 3rd monetary cost of selling your house, cost of home repairs and preparation. First impressions are vital. Preparing your home for sale might involve repairs, deep cleaning, landscaping, and staging. On average, sellers in Ohio spend about 2 to 3% of the sales price on these preparations. For a home valued at $227,000, this equates to approximately $4,500 to $7,000-ish. Investing in these areas can significantly enhance your home's home's appeal, potentially leading to a quicker sale at a higher price. This cost either happens up front if you have a pre-sale inspection and you get a list of the defects and you address those before going on the market, or they can come up during the buyer's inspection. The buyer will have a full inspection and they'll provide you with a defect notice outlining the repairs that they're asking you to make before you close. This is a negotiation point, but it's best to be flexible and to make some compromises here. It's not fair for a buyer to expect a brand new house if the house is old, but it's also not fair to expect a buyer to pay for deferred maintenance that you didn't disclose, or to just eat the cost of having to replace an old roof or an HVAC system in the next few years. Even if you sell your house as is, you need to factor this expense in because you're most definitely be getting lower offers than you would have otherwise. I have two videos that address some of this, one about selling as is and one about return on investments or ROI that talks about some upgrades to consider. But regardless of which way you go, repairs and prep will cost at least some money. The fourth monetary cost to be aware of is number 4, seller closing costs. Now this is title fees, owner title insurance, transfer taxes, recorder fees, proration of taxes. Every county is different. In Ohio, seller closing fees are generally minimal and include transfer taxes, which range from 1% to 3% by county, title fees, which are between $250 to $500, and proration of taxes, either a full year, which is long rate proration, or a half year, which is short rate proration. This varies by both county and the agreed upon terms of your contract. Buyers' offers might also include sellers paying a portion of their closing costs called settlement charges. Sometimes, for instance, if the buyer would have otherwise made an offer of, say, $280,000, they make an offer of $290,000 but ask for $10,000 to go toward their closing costs. Sometimes they need this because they don't have the cash saved up. Other times they need this because they have updates or repairs and they need the cash that they have to save for that. Sometimes an offer will ask the seller to pay for title insurance or a home warranty. All seller paid buyer closing costs or settlement costs are negotiable. I can usually get my sellers a net sheet within $200 when offers come in that will estimate their total cost and the net profit they can expect. The big wild cards are inspections and appraisal gaps. No one can predict those with 100% accuracy, but I usually have a pretty good idea. And the last monetary cost that I want to bring up is number 5, cost of moving. You'd be surprised how many folks overlook the cost associated with moving. In Ohio, a local move averages around $357, while a long distance move, 1,000 miles or more, can cost $3,000 plus. And budgeting for these expenses will ensure a smoother transition to your new home. This cost greatly varies depending on how much you're doing yourself and how much you're paying professionals, as well as how much stuff that you have to move. But do factor this in when you're looking at total cost. Which brings me to my last 2 points. Not all cost is monetary. So what else does selling cost you? I have 2 big costs to share that have nothing to do with money. Number 6 on my list, the cost of time. Time is one of the most overlooked costs when selling a home, but it's incredibly valuable. Selling a home can take weeks or even months from the moment you decide to list to the day that you hand over the keys. Here's what I mean. Preparing your home. You're going to clean, organize, and complete repairs. Then that can take days or weeks depending on the condition of your property. I created a 7-week guide to prep your home. If you want to watch that next, I'll link it in the description. Showings and open houses. Coordinating showings means keeping your home clean and staged while accommodating buyer schedules, which often includes last-minute requests. Then there's the closing process. After accepting an offer, the closing process typically takes 30 to 45 days, during which you need to handle inspections, appraisals, negotiations. If a deal falls through and you have to go back on the market, the clock starts over. If you're juggling a full-time job, family responsibilities, or even relocating to a new city, the time spent on these tasks adds up quickly. That's why having a trusted real estate agent streamlining that process can save you countless hours and mistakes. And last but not least, and my final point, number 7, the cost of stress. Let's face it, selling a home can be stressful, and that's a cost that isn't measured in dollars. Here are a few stress points to consider. Uncertainty of the market. Will your home sell quickly? Will it sell for the price that you need? These unknowns can create a lot of anxiety, especially in a fluctuating market. Decision fatigue. From choosing which repairs to make to navigating offers and negotiation terms, the sheer number of decisions can feel overwhelming. Lifestyle disruption. Keeping your home show ready at all times can be challenging, particularly if you have kids, pets, or a busy household. It can feel like you're living in a museum. Emotional attachment. Selling a home often means saying goodbye to a place filled with memories, and that emotional toll can be significant. Now, I know that I'm biased, but one of the best ways to reduce stress is to work with a real estate professional who handles the details for you. If you've had a bad experience with realtors in the past and they haven't seemed deemed worth their fee, I encourage you to interview a few before hiring someone or before going for sale by owner. My job is to shoulder the burden so you can focus on what's next with confidence and peace of mind. If you need help choosing the best realtor for you, make sure to watch this video next or check out my sellers playlist for tons of helpful videos along the way. Hopefully this breakdown of the costs associated with selling your home was helpful. Being informed about these expenses should help you plan effectively and maximize your proceeds. If you're considering selling your home in the Miami Valley, I'd love to talk to you and see if we'd be a good fit to work together. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights on living in the Miami Valley of Ohio. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.